What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, I'm doing race 6 for the 2025 Coca-Cola 600. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. This weekend is one of NASCAR's biggest crown jewel events of 2025, that of course being the Coca-Cola 600, the longest NASCAR Cup Series race on the calendar, the race that is a test of endurance, skill, and making sure you have a car that is there at the end of the event, as sometimes chaos can happen at the Coca-Cola 600. The last time we ran the Coca-Cola 600 in 2024, we saw Christopher pick up the win. Kyle Larson tried to do the double. It unfortunately did not go through. He's, of course, going to be doing the double this time around. And Christopher won when the race was rain shortened by humidity on the racetrack. He'll be looking to go back-to-back and get a second straight Coca-Cola 600 win in 2025. So now, let's go ahead and jump into picks. But before I go ahead and jump into picks, let's take a look at the weather for this weekend. So the weather for this weekend is very interesting. It's going to be 75 degrees high with 61 degrees as well, with a 20% chance of light rain. Now, granted, the weather does improve as the day progresses and goes on. 20% is not a very high chance currently at the moment, so there's a very good chance and possibly the weather can improve. We'll see if that weather chance can improve for this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So now, let's go ahead and jump into picks. For those who are new to the channel, here's how picks usually work. Now, for the Cup Series, usually I do 2 suck picks, 2 underdog picks, a winner's pick, and 4 drivers you need to watch out for. But because this is a crown jewel event, I got 3 suck picks. 3 drivers I think are going to struggle that I don't think are going to have the pace and speed this time around, and have generally not shown a lot of speed this year. 3 underdog picks. 3 drivers who desperately need a good run. I think will have a really good run this weekend, or really good at this type of track and under fun equipment. And I'll do my winner's pick, the driver that's going to win the race overall, and I do the drivers watch out for. And for this weekend, I got 6 drivers you need to watch out for along with the race winner. So now, let's jump into picks. Who are my suck picks for the 2025 Coca-Cola 600? My first suck pick for this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Co 600 is a driver of the 88 car for Trackhouse Racing, Shane Van Gisbergen. Now, Shane Van Gisbergen's had a couple decent runs in recent weeks. He had a top 20 run at Kansas Speedway, but generally, I don't think that SVG's had the consistent pace and speed to be a factor on these types of tracks. I think SVG will be contender for top 30 at best. I think he got a top 30 finish in last year's Coke 600, but I think because he just hasn't been as strong at these types of tracks, those long run speed has been getting better. I think he could be in for at least a decent run there, but I think it's unfortunately going to be a little bit struggle for Shane. I don't think he'll be a factor at all this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. My second suck pick for this weekend at Charlotte is a driver of the 54 car for Joe Gibbs Racing, Ty Gibbs. Prior to the last couple weeks, Ty Gibbs had been showing a lot of improvement. That number 54 car had been getting faster, and Ty had some really good runs. But in the last couple weeks, it seems like this team has floundered. He ran really bad at Kansas, finished 15th in the All-Star Open, which is a big surprise, and just hasn't had the consistent pace and speed that his teammates have had throughout 2025 so far. It's been a struggle for the number 54 teamer, so a lot of work that needs to be done. He was really good in this race last year too, but at tracks where we thought he'd be a factor, he hasn't really been a factor, so I think it'll be a struggle for him this weekend at Charlotte. My third and final suck pick for the 2025 Coca-Cola 600 is a driver of the 6 car for RFK Racing, Brad Keselowski. I think many of you were kind of expecting this. Brad Keselowski has had his worst career season up to this point. He has not even scored a single top 5, not even a single top 10. Only 2 or 3 top 20s to the first 12 points paying race of 2025, and has 8 or 9 finishes of 25th or below so far. And Brad Keselowski, while he's been solid at Charlotte in the past, it has just been a struggle for this number 16. There's a lot of inconsistency from the program. He just doesn't have the pace to be up front. I think he's going to struggle this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And now we're going to go ahead and jump on to the underdog picks for the 2025 Coca-Cola 600. Who are my underdog picks? My first underdog pick for this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway is a driver of the 87 car for Trackhouse Racing, Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch is making his Oval Cup Series debut this weekend with Trackhouse Racing in this year's Coke 600. So he's doing his own double as he runs full-time in Xfinity for Junior Motorsports. I think Zilisch, despite the fact he's never ran an Oval start in Cup, I think he's going to get up to speed really quickly. I could see him being a factor for top 20. I don't see him going out there being a contender for the win, but I think a top 20 is very, very possible. I think the Trackhouse cars have been decent at times on the mile and a half this year. Their program has been showing a little bit more speed recently, so I think that Connor's going to have a solid run and show some good speed this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. My second underdog pick for this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway is a driver of the A car for Richard Childress Racing, Kyle Busch. Now, Kyle Busch, in my opinion, has had a lot more speed this year than where the results have shown. He, of course, did finish in the top 10 most recently in North Wilkesboro in the All-Star event, and before having issues at Kansas, he was contending for a top 10 for most of the event. I think Kyle Busch will be a factor for at least a top 10. I think RCR also has been solid at this track in the past, so I think Kyle Busch should be a factor. I think Kyle Busch will have a solid chance and opportunity for a potential top 10 this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And my third and final underdog pick for this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway is the driver of the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing, Chase Briscoe. Over the last month or so, I feel like Chase Briscoe has been starting to emerge. He had a really solid top 5 run, I believe, at Kansas Speedway. Of course, he got some top 5s and top 10s recently, and I feel like this number 19 team is starting to show a little bit more of that speed. They're not leading as many laps as Mark Truex Jr. did in the early portion of last year, but I think that Chase Briscoe is going to be a factor for a really good run. I think the 19 car has been getting a little faster. The speed has been showing up a lot more consistently. I think Chase Briscoe will be a factor for a top 5 or top 10 this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coke 600. And now we're going to jump on to the winner's pick for the 2025 Coca-Cola 600. Who am I picking to win? The driver who I'm picking to win this year's Coca-Cola 600 is going to be doing the double in 2025 and also won the Coke 600 back in 2021. Had a really good chance to go back-to-back in 2022. I am picking the driver of the 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports, Kyle Larson, to pick up a second Coca-Cola 600 victory and his 33rd career NASCAR Cup Series win in the Coke 600. Despite the fact that Larson's probably not going to be at the racetrack too much with his focus on Indianapolis, I think Larson will qualify that car very, very well, and I think he'll be up front contending. I don't see Larson missing. If how fast that 5 car has been on Mile House, especially this year, it's been the strongest car on those types of tracks. I think Larson, yes, his focus will be on Indy, but I think Larson comes to Charlotte Motor Speedway with a potential shot at a top 10 there. I think he comes to Charlotte, runs very well, runs with the speed. I think Larson will potentially get it done. I think he wins his 4th race of 2025 in this season at Charlotte. And now we're going to jump on to the drivers you need to watch out for this weekend at Charlotte. Who should you have your eyes out on? The first driver you need to watch out for this weekend at Charlotte is the driver of the 9 car for Hendrick Motorsports, Chase Elliott. Now, Chase Elliott generally this year has not had the speed his teammates have had on the mile and a half. That was, of course, until Kansas. Chase Elliott had one of the strongest cars, in my opinion, probably the fastest car in the long run at Kansas, and I feel like Chase Elliott's been always good at Charlotte. He's always had the pace and speed to be a major factor at this track. I think Chase Elliott's going to have a really fast car, and I think he'll have a great chance and opportunity to pick up win number 1 of 2025 in his 20th career NASCAR Cup Series victory at this track. The second driver you need to watch out for this weekend at Charlotte is a driver of the 12th car for Team Penske, Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney is looking for a second win of first win of 2025 and a second Coca-Cola 600 win. And we know the long runs are going to be a big factor. Ryan Blaney, in my opinion, has been the best car in the long run consistently every single week. I think Ryan Blaney's going to have a fast car. I think Team Penske is going to bring a really good car for him this weekend. I think he's going to have a good chance and opportunity. I think he'll be up front this weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The third driver you need to watch out for this weekend at Charlotte is the driver of the 20 car for Joe Gibbs Racing, Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell has been super consistent and is coming off of winning the All-Star race this past week. On top of that as well, he won the most recent Coke 600 in 2024. The last time someone went back-to-back in the Coke 600, I believe, was Jimmy Johnson when he went 3 in a row from 2003 to 2005. I think Christopher Bell has a good chance and opportunity to join Jimmy Johnson on that lead class and get another Coca-Cola 600 victory at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The fourth driver you need to watch out for this weekend at Charlotte is a driver of the 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports, William Byron. William Byron is still looking for a second victory of 2025, but this race last year, William Byron was quick. And I know he's had some bad finishes recently, but I think Byron is going to have a very fast car. The Hendrick car has always been really good. This is their playground. They obviously got a club at that track right now. I think he's going to be a factor and have a great chance and opportunity to get win number 2 of 2025 in his 15th career Cup Series win at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The fifth driver you should watch out for this weekend at Charlotte is the driver of the 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports, Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman has had a lot of speed so far this year. He's had some weeks recently where he hasn't had the results to show for, but Alex Bowman looks to be really good. He had a really strong run at Kansas, has been really fast on mile and a half like Homestead, really fast at Las Vegas as well. I think Bowman's going to have a really fast and strong and pretty good car. I think Bowman will be a pretty big factor to get win number 1 in 2025 in the Coca-Cola 600 with Hendrick. And the sixth and final driver that I think you need to watch out for this weekend at Charlotte is a driver of the 23 car for 2311 Racing, Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace has always been really good at Charlotte Motor Speedway. In 2023, he scored a top 5 finish at the track. In 2022, he was really good in that event before the damage vehicle policy came into play. And I think last year he had a top 5 and top 10 speed throughout the event. I think they're going to bring a really strong car for Bubba this weekend, and I think he'll be the strongest 2311 race car. That's my hot take. I think he's going to have top 5 speed consistently. He's had more spin on the mile house, I think, this year than Tyler Reddick consistently. So I think Bubba will be a factor and have a really good run at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So, those are my race picks for the 2025 Coca-Cola 600. Just a reminder, my suck picks are Shane Van Gisbergen, Ty Gibbs, Brad Keselowski. My underdog picks are Connor Zilch, Kyle Busch, Chase Briscoe. My winner's pick is Kyle Larson. And the ones to watch out for, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Alex Bowman, and Bubba Wallace. Those are my race picks. So, that is going to be it for the Race 6 video for the 2025 Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your picks below for this weekend at Charlotte. Let me know your suck picks, let me know your underdog picks, let me know your winner's pick, and let me know your drivers you're watching out for the Coca-Cola 600. Let me know your picks in the comments below. Later today on the channel, we're going to see the NASCAR Xfinity Series race picks from Charlotte Motor Speedway. They'll go up later in the afternoon. You're also going to see the paint scheme video for the Coca-Cola 600 as well. Then on Friday, we're going to have an NASCAR news video sometime in the early portion of the morning. We're going to have the Truck Series review. We might also have the ARC review as well, depending on how Cletus McFarland does. We got content coming on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, Cletus McFarland, Matt Benedetto, Dodge, Honda, Charlotte, all the good stuff. Chicago, and too. We'll talk about that later this week. We're going to talk about all this stuff in the coming days and weeks and the Team Penske stuff that happened this week in IndyCar. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.